It's Nolan. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another edition of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music and entertainment commentary and breakdowns. Now, today, we're going to be getting into Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice. There seems to have been some sort of trouble brewing between the two, some sort of disagreement. They're not seeing eye to eye, allegedly. All right, that's at least what the people are saying. It seems that there may be a series of infractions that are coming from Ice Spice's side that Nicki and her team are not in alignment with. And it seems that Nicki may have gotten iced out. This is the rumor that's circulating, that she got iced out of the business deal with Ice Spice. I don't know this to be fact. I'm only going off of the information that's been coming out. As I told y'all the other day, that lady Sleaze Mirage, I thought she was just literally a Nicki Minaj stan page. Y'all informed me that she's allegedly Nicki Minaj's hairstylist or something to that degree. Again, I don't know who she is. This is the information that's been passed along to me. Until otherwise, I guess we'll just go until otherwise is proven or you know, disseminated in my direction. We're gonna go with that. So Sleaze Mirage, over the course of the past few days, or since the start of this month, has been going back and forth with Twitter users about the Nicki Minaj Ice Spice situation. And what we do know for sure is Sleaze Mirage is not pleased with Ice. Okay? Now, for those of y'all that may not know all of the inner workings of the music industry and all of this type of stuff, last year it was revealed, number one, that Nicki Minaj launched her own label, Heavy on It. It was a lot of time coming. I'm not really sure why it took so long for her to launch her own label, her own company to begin with. I thought that was a little bit odd or strange, that she was just YMCMB, Universal Republic, for so long. But not every artist has interest or the desire to sign other people, right? Sometimes it's like, man, I would rather let you do your thing, collaborate with other artists, go back to my business. Running my business is enough. I really don't have a desire to fuck with yours. And there's no shame in that. There's a lot of artists that didn't take that route, right? However, she decided to launch Heavy on It last year, and the signees that she announced weren't all that impressive, if I must say. Like Tate Cobain, he's talented. They've kind of turned him into a glorified producer over there. I think he did a couple records on Pink Friday too. There's some other artists that got signed and we haven't heard anything from them. Don't know what they have going on in their life or their career at this point. This is not a knock on Nicki. This is just a knock on the fact that it's been a year and we haven't heard anything. So hopefully at some point before the year is out, going into 2025, those other artists that she signed are able to do something, able to put their face on the map at the bare minimum. You feel me? The other artists that are officially on the roster are Nana Fofi, Tate Cobain, as I stated, Rico Dana, and London Hill. Again, we didn't see no remnants of them on the Pink Friday 2 album. If y'all saw them in the credits, please be sure to let me know. We saw Tate Cobain on the song, the joint with Lil Wayne, and he also produced it. But everybody else is pretty much, I don't know, probably still working a regular job in the hood somewhere trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, to be honest. At one point, I do remember there being a big announcement, and I talked about it on my channel last year, that Ice Spice was also supposedly in a business partnership or some sort of joint venture or something between 10K Projects and her deal with Heavy on It and Nicki Minaj. However, it seems that everything has kind of contradicted that, if we're gonna be all the way real, right? As I'm here, let's see. Ice Spice signs partnership deal under Nicki Minaj's new label, right? So this is April 13th of 2023. This is exactly a year ago. This particular article states, according to reports last night during the latest episode of Nicki Minaj's Queen Radio, the famed rapper seemingly revealed the name of her record label. Nicki Minaj was joined by fellow rapper Ice Spice, and the ladies talked about music, their careers, plus their new collab, the Princess Diana remix. In addition to seemingly announcing the name of her record label, Heavy On It Records, Nicki Minaj hit listeners with even more surprises and shared there's a new partnership deal her label secured with Ice Spice. Nicki reportedly said, "Heavy On It is the label, and I'm proud to announce my partnership with the one and only Ice Spice." Right? So that I remember this vividly because I talked about this and did a whole ass video on it. In this Queen Radio episode, she says, "When I get behind an artist, y'all know how I do shit for people that's not even signed to me. Imagine what I'm gonna do for the ones that's signed." She even gave her fans an idea of what type of music they can expect from the label. "Don't think it's just rap or black or anything. We got other genres of music." They went on to have success with Princess Diana. They went on to do Barbie World. So they were seemingly in a good space, you know, but in the midst of this announcement, I gotta be honest, I also remember looking at that partnership with a bit of a side eye, right? And I say that because Ice Spice and her manager did an interview with, I want to say Billboard. I'm still trying to find that article with Billboard while I'm talking, because I thought it was very interesting what her manager said when it came to the deal. I finally found this damn interview. Okay, so in this article with Billboard, it goes, they talk about the label bidding war that was emerging from Ice Spice when she put Munch out. Every label wanted to sign her, right? So they say to help him, her manager, who's James Roseman, also known as James Roseman Jr., the son of Jimmy Henchman. That's a popular name in hip-hop. Gangster from New York, from Queens. I think he's actually in jail. He's one of the people that was connected to Tupac's shooting, but, you know, this is his son. We're not talking about him. They say to help him and Ice navigate the ensuing label bidding war and emerge with the friendliest possible terms, including owning her masters in publishing, Roseman hired his high school acquaintance Leon Marabia, an attorney from the newly merged powerhouse from Mark Music and Media Law. They're still involved with Ice Spice now. So when he and Ice arrived at a dinner meeting with 10K and Capitol Records last summer, they say they weren't freestyling it. We had that vision walking in, which means that they knew that they wanted to retain ownership of her masters and publishing. That was something that they were very strong about, and they were not going to give up. So if Capitol wasn't going to allow them to keep that, they would have gone somewhere else, right? But if you're fighting that hard to maintain all the masters and the publishing for Ice Spice, and then y'all turn around and do a partnership with Nicki Minaj, you're not going to concede and give those things up to Nicki and her label if you just worked hard and went through the negotiation process to retain it with Capitol, who's a much bigger company, right? And they already have things going on. So when I saw that they were doing this partnership with Nicki, I was like, how's that going to work? She just signed a deal. That's pretty questionable. You scroll down through the situation. They say, hey, when asked about their dream collaboration, both Ice and Riot USA are at a loss for words because they already checked it off with Minaj. Nicki Minaj, that is. Ice credits Roseman for ultimately making her dream come true. "I'm listening to her. Who's her idol? Nicki, 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 Nicki. My thing is, how do I get her Nicki?" And it's being persistent, he says. So out of all the collaborations that Ice Spice wanted, he's saying every time it was only Nicki. That was the big deal. That was the big, like, hey, when we get to this label, when we get in the industry, this is who I want to work with. That dream came true, right? He said it took months to get Nicki on board, and it happened. In tandem with the remix's release, and that's the Princess Diana, Minaj announced on her Queen radio show that she established a partner with Ice under Minaj's new label, Heavy on It. However, Ice Spice's manager, Mr. Roseman, declined to comment on the matter. As a matter of fact, I think the original publishing of this article said no comment in quotations. I'm sure it did because, again, I have a whole video documenting this from a year ago. So I find it very odd that they were transparent about the label signing process with Capitol and 10K, right? We own our masters. We own our publishing. We went to all these meetings. We were very persistent with the fact that we needed certain terms and agreements in order to enter with the label. But then all of a sudden, the situation with Nicki, which is what people are even more so interested in learning about, he says no comment. I found that to be odd. Then her project comes out and it's on 10K Capitol Records. It's not under Heavy on It. But then you look at Princess Diana Remix, it's released under Heavy on It, right? So then that got my wheels turning. I said, oh, it looks like Nicki Minaj entered a partnership with Ice Spice where I don't mind collaborating with you. I want to be involved in your situation. But since you're not signing to my label, any music that I work with you on has to be released under my company. I have to own that music. You retain ownership of everything else you do. We're going to keep these records, right? The Barbie World joint, that's not Nicki's song. That's not Ice Spice's song. That's Barbie. That's Mattel and whoever produced that film. They own that record, right? Or whatever label that soundtrack was released through, which I guess it would only take a couple clicks to find that out. So that Barbie the album soundtrack was released under Atlantic, which is the same label that Nicki Minaj has had quite a few issues with, especially with the Cardi B situation. Cardi signed to Atlantic. She feels as though they've been hoisting Cardi up as her competitor, going in overdrive, putting exorbitant amounts of money to make her be seen as a true competitor, to knock her off, right? That's her narrative, not mine. This is stuff that she's been talking about, all these machines and these people behind the scenes that are, coming together to try to knock her from her pedestal. I find it very interesting that soundtrack was released by Atlantic, a company that she was not too fond of. So neither Ice Spice or Nicki Minaj own that record, which I never expected that they did, but it did numbers. It did excellent on the charts, and it magnified Ice Spice even on a bigger level, right? But from that point, no other music that she's released has been on the Heavy on It imprint. Everything has gone back to 10K Capitol. And personally, I just find that interesting because I don't know of any other artist that signed a deal with somebody or any other label that signed a deal with somebody where they say, you can keep your music, but the songs that you release with me have to be owned by me, right? That's like almost like what happened with Drake and this new Four Bats guy, but not the same. So what they did with what Drake and OVO did with Four Bats, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, is they signed him to a one album deal or an EP deal. He's gonna release his EP under OVO, and I'm quite sure they put a clause in his contract that says we have a first right of refusal. So we're going to work with you on this EP. We're going to see how it does. We're going to see if the public is receptive to your style or if you're just a viral TikTok sensation and niggas have gone past you, right? So if the album sells well, that means we'll renegotiate. We'll talk about re-signing you, give you a new advance, give you a new set of terms, all that good stuff. But if the project flops, we have the right to say, go back home to where you came from. We don't want to see you ever again. And And that feels like a trial situation because you're finding these artists online. You don't know if they have an established fan base. They go viral. You don't know if they're going to be around for a long time. You don't want to put a super high like overhead on them. You don't want to spend too much money on somebody who's not going to recoup. And you don't want to lock an artist in a long-term deal because you don't know if they have long-term output within them, right? But what Nicki did was crazy because it's like, and now with what I'm going to reveal to y'all, it's kind of like, I'll do songs with you. Any features I do for you, since you can't afford to pay me, because let's be honest, if Nicki did a feature on an Ice Spice song just off the cuff, just on the fact of like, I like what you got going on, that could be anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000. That's the value of a Nicki Minaj verse. For anybody, I'm saying value as in that's the minimum you're going to pay. It might be higher. It could be 150 because she's Nicki Minaj. She's the biggest female rapper of all time. Her fee is going to be close to what a Kanye, a Wayne. Well, Wayne's probably giving it for a little less these days. A Jay-Z, a Travis Scott, a Drake. You know, it's essentially priceless because the credibility you're going to get off of that feature alone, you could never really value. You're going to launch a career off of it for most people. So it's like, I know y'all don't got the money to pay me for this. You're a brand new artist. You just got a deal. Ain't no fucking way you could ever repay me for what I'm about to do for you. So I will own the master of this collaboration. Even though Riot produced it, which is Ice Spice's in-house producer. So the song essentially is coming from, I mean, it's a remix to her own fucking song that she owned. But the remix is owned by Nicki Minaj. So it's not like my theory could be far off. I think it's right on point. But the reasoning as to why this happened is what's unclear. So let's get into the argument on Twitter, right? Because this is where things get a little shaky. So apparently back in February, Nicki Minaj was on station head Queen Radio doing her thing, talking to the fans, and she made reference to a certain female artist that was supposed to be on the PF2 tour, but someone in the industry said, don't do it. Right? Let's see. Let's pull up this audio. Of course, she's going to be talking very long and drawn out. This is how she speaks. I don't know why, but she does this. We're going to try to be patient and allow her to get to her point. So let's run it.
I couldn't do my tour. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You gonna get all of this work. All because. All because. All because of what? All because of what, J Roberson? J Roberson. You'll never guess who he's managing now.
All right. Now, I don't expect y'all to know who G. Roberson is, but let's just give you a quick crash course to catch you up to speed on who G. Roberson is. G. Roberson is clearly a manager in the music industry, but where does he originate from? G. Roberson comes from Rockefeller lineage, right? He started with his brother Hip Hop. Well, no. Let me stop that. They're not brothers. Hip Hop and G. Roberson, they started a management group called Hip Hop since 1978 while they were under Rockefeller. I think it's actually originated from Rock the Mic Management, and then they formed their own company. From them, they were managing, co-managing Jay-Z, co-managing Kanye, all the artists that were under the Rockefeller umbrella. They were keeping up the day-to-day, making sure everything was good. Eventually, when Wayne turned down the opportunity to sign with Rockefeller, years later, he ended up recruiting Hip Hop since 1978 to become his managers, right? So Carter 3 era, and beyond, they were his managers, co-managing with his childhood friend Tez Bryant, who also has gone bad, I think, in Nicki Minaj's eyes, because Tez Bryant is involved with Lotto, or at least he was during that time when Nicki and Lotto were going head to head, right? So Wayne's former manager, Tez, in current day, has something to do with the ascension of Lotto. The other co-manager, G Roberson, they're managing Wayne at that time. They become Nicki Minaj's managers. They became Drake's managers at one point. They were managing everybody under Young Money that mattered, right? All of this matters. Eventually, Drake cuts out hip hop since 1978, and hires his manager, his friend Future, right? Not the rapper, but his friend Future. Cuts them out. I don't believe they still manage Wayne. Eventually, Nicki cut them out also. So they go on and disband hip hop since 1978. They create a new management group called Maverick Management. Now, Maverick Management is a big conglomerate of managers throughout the industry. You had Pharrell's manager, all these different people, powerhouse firm. Well, apparently, Ice Spice's management team decided to link up with G Roberson for consulting, right? And somehow, in the consulting of Ice Spice and Co., it was said not to do the tour with Nicki Minaj. Allegedly. These are only information. These are facts that, well, I don't want to say facts. These are factoids. These are tidbits of information that I've gathered online from people that seem to be in her entourage of some sort, right? Again, Sleaze Mirage primarily. So, in her gripes with Ice Spice, somebody posted a now deleted tweet, but Sleaze Mirage came out and says, y'all keep purposely missing the point, but it's no way y'all mad about who people don't fuck with. Somebody comes and says, well, what's the point then? Sleaze says, why didn't she sign to Heavy on it after getting those 2 verses like she was supposed to? What happened to that? She can't keep Nicki's name out of her dick suckers, her mouth, her lips. That's her words, dick suckers. Like there's so much love. Used PD for that EP, Princess Diana, but didn't sign that partnership deal. Somebody jumped back and said she was never supposed to. Y'all dumbasses just think y'all know shit. Why would she sign? Right? And they posted a screenshot of that same Billboard article that I made reference to. Sleaze Mirage comes back and says, not reading all that when the credits of Princess Diana speaks for it all. Ask James, ask Ice, where's the deal? Somebody continued to challenge her and push back. She says, obviously there was a direct discussion. Please move if you're not going to be using your brain, especially when I was speaking to Holland to begin with. Holland is who she was having this Twitter discourse with originally. Right? So this morning, somebody tagged me, and this is how this information even came. This Barty's Danger page, which is a Cardi B stan page, says, oh, mother, Ice Spice, I wasn't familiar with your game. So you lied to that lady that you're signed to her unknown label when she gave you 2 features and then didn't after. I'm on the floor. She wanted to use your hype to push her label. I'm glad there's smart people around you. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. When it comes to stan pages, when it comes to anyone from either side, you got to take some of these things with a little bit of a grain of salt, right? There's this Twitter page, Female Rap Bible, that's also pushing this narrative. They say, so Nicki is beefing with Ice Spice because her management advised her not to sign with Heavy On It Records. Heavy on It Records has never had an artist chart on Billboard, and majority of their artists are only credited writers for Nicki and don't release their own music. I just told y'all who those artists are, by the way, and we haven't seen them yet, right? Furthermore, Sleaze says Nicki herself said Ice declined the tour, and her manager is G. Roberson. Ice toured with Doja. Use your brain. I think this tweet was deleted. It was a little bit too direct, a little bit too on the nose. So somebody had to release screenshots of it. Right? So a year to the date, all of this was supposedly happening, and it all fell apart in a short period of time. I don't know what this conversations entailed between April and November of last year when the tour was getting locked in for the album and all that stuff. You know, the album dropped near her birthday, on her birthday, if I'm not mistaken. Nicki's birthday, by the way. But the negotiation process didn't come to fruition. It didn't work out. So the deal fell through, and the plans of touring with Nicki also fell through, right? And this is allegedly why we don't see them together anymore, right? Remember earlier this year when Ice Spice talked about her debut album is officially going to drop this year. They asked who she was going to have on there for features. She said, I got some really dope features, but I can't tell y'all yet. They said, they asked her, are we going to see a Nicki Minaj feature on there? She said, I don't know. But to be honest, if we don't, she's already done enough for me. I could never repay her for everything that she's done for me. She's looked out. I'm not tripping on a Nicki feature. I don't want to badger her. I don't want to make, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to make her uncomfortable or anything. So if she never works with me again, it's all good. I thank her. I'm forever indebted to her. Something along those lines, right? So that's where we are today. Not to mention the fact, right, when Kanye couldn't get Nicki Minaj to clear the new body feature verse, who did he go and try to get? Ice Spice. Now that record never came out, but just remember, these are infractions that make things a little tricky. We've got the leaked version of Cardi rapping on the remix of Munch. Never came out. She never cleared it to be released. We just saw Ice Spice and Cardi B. They had their little back and forth thing about who's Dominican and who's not. But Cardi said, hey, release them photos. I just seen you the other day. Ice Spice put them bitches on Twitter and said, my people, mi gente. Or some shit like that. Pardon me if I'm not saying it correctly. I'm not looking at the photo. So it seems that there is some tension. I won't even say tension, right? Because I honestly feel like Nicki's like, fuck her. Get her out of here. We not talking about this girl. I ain't got no beef with this girl. She gonna need me before I ever need her again. I think that's her perspective of the situation. Where it goes from there, I don't know. But that's where we're standing today. Again, I don't want to purport that this is all 100% facts. I'm only going off of the information that's being distributed online. And again, this Sleaze Mirage person is alleged to be a part of Nicki's team in some capacity. It seems that she's online fighting a lot of people on behalf, or I should say, he, not she, or I don't know what he identifies as, to be honest, what they identify as. Let me just say that. Yeah. So Sleaze Mirage styles Nicki. Okay. Styled by me, and I see one of her outfits. Cool. So we know at the bare minimum, Sleaze Mirage is on that team, spending time with Nicki, has some insight, and is going online, kind of like the Ken Barbie to Cardi B effect. I don't know what the fuck Ken Barbie does for Cardi, but it seems that whenever the actual artist in question doesn't want to address certain things online, they send a flunky to go fight those battles on Twitter. Where things go from here, I don't know, but it does seem as though Nicki Minaj did get iced out of the Ice Spice deal. Ice Spice is generating a lot of money right now. She's doing Coachella, doing a poor performance, might I add. Thought she was getting better, not seeming to improve. But nonetheless, that's where we stand. Where things go from here, if they're going to collaborate again, if they'll ever try to revisit this deal or whatever. Hey, if it ever happens, you know where to look, because I'm going to be talking about the shit, because that's what we do over here inside the industry. We cover the four corners, of hip-hop. All the, you know what I mean? Male, female, beef, harmony. It don't fucking matter. We gonna cover this shit. If it's newsworthy and there's actual details that are worth expounding on, we gonna get to the shits, all right? For those of y'all that tuned into my stream earlier, talking about Drake and Rick Ross going head to head, or at the time it said nose to nose, Kendrick Lamar's alleged ghostwriter, my performance and everything. I'm sure some of y'all are probably trying to find that video. Unfortunately, I played a demo of Kendrick Lamar from the first version of what N95 was supposed to be, some song called Out of Pocket. I shouldn't have probably played that shit on the stream, because Universal Music Group came in and swiped that video. So right now it's in the process of taking Kendrick out of the video, which is why some of y'all can't find it. Please be patient. It will be re-uploaded. We'll say this. If they don't clear it fast enough, I'm going to re-premiere that bitch so that y'all can see what happened without the music in it, without that Kendrick shit in it. But one way or another, it's coming back up, all right? So I appreciate y'all tuning in. I appreciate everybody that was on that stream. We had consistently over 200 people in there. I think by the time I left, it was like 180 something. I performed a couple of songs. I appreciate everybody that gave those super chats. I'm gonna give y'all a big shout out right now, just because I really appreciate y'all, and I just want to share that love and respect. So big shout out to B Hop, big shout out to Yasmin, Sarah B, Costanza, Angelica, Crowned by K, Nomel. Sonia, she popped up a couple times in the super chats. Queen, Costanza popped up a couple times in the super chats as well. That was fucking live. I greatly appreciate y'all, man. I don't take none of this stuff for granted. It wasn't that long ago where my views was not hitting like that. The views was not viewing. So I just want to let y'all know I greatly appreciate y'all. I don't force or come out here begging for no type of monetary, pledge to the channel, but they're always immaculate and they're always on time. You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all for the support. Much love and respect. I'll catch y'all later. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. Like and share the video for the information. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. All right? Peace, y'all.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. But I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. When I catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.